In this video, I'll show you how to create user-defined ignores in Verifika. We all know that for every rule, there is an exception. That's why you can set up not only checks, but also exceptions, called ignores in our case. To set up such ignores, switch to the User-Defined Ignores tab. We are going to check the User-Defined Ignores box and review what this tab is about. It consists of two tables. In the first one, you can enter the name of the ignore and the error type to which the ignore should apply. The other table defines ignore search patterns. In other words, describes which errors should be ignored. One rule is already set up. It works with the abbreviations for e.g., meaning for example. It is set to work for the inconsistent measurement units error group, and due to this setting, cases when the abbreviation is found in the source text but is missing from the translation will not appear in the report. Why does Verifika consider this abbreviation to be an error? The reason is that G is a symbol for grams in measurement units and is universally used in alphabets using the Latin script. That's why the measurement unit check requires that G from the source text is also found in the translation. Otherwise, it reports an error. Let's disable user-defined ignores and open the report. As you can see, Verifika reports the EG abbreviation in the inconsistent measurement units group. Our user-defined ignore helps to avoid reporting such errors. Now, look at the second error group named different amount of mathematical signs. It often includes segments with hyphens, em-dashes, or minus signs used as the range sign. In this particular case, it includes a segment with a non-breaking hyphen, represented by a tag in the software. This happens when the translation uses words, not a sign, within the range, and vice versa. Verifika detects such mismatches and reports them. In fact, these segments contain no error as long as you do not have any specific requirements regarding ranges. Therefore, we'll create a user-defined ignore for them. Let's close the report and review the process in detail. To add a new ignore, click the New button. In the row that appears, enter the rule name. Then go to the other table and enter the pattern number. In the remaining columns, define what Verifika has to look for. Let's recall what a segment with the error looks like. You can see that Verifika highlights the non-breaking hyphen in the report because it is missing from the translation. The search range column defines the boundaries within which the rule is applied. You can select one of four options: before, inside, and after the highlighting, as well as ignore highlighting. If you want the rule to work not only in the highlighted area, but also include adjacent numbers, select the latter. In the Mode column, define search conditions. To learn more about the search modes, please watch the search video. Here we select Source and Target texts are found because the number range should be present in both the source and the translation. In the last column of this table, enter the expressions to match text string patterns in the segment. We cannot enter any specific figures here, as we did in the first user-defined ignore. The figures can vary, and there is an unlimited number of various ranges. That's why we are using regular expressions, a language that allows us to define string patterns. The pattern for a range is 2 digits with a hyphen or a dash between them. Let's describe it using the regular expression. Type the shortcut \d to match any decimal digit. Depending on the language, a space may or may not follow the digit. Use the shortcut \s to match a space. To indicate that the space is optional, place the question mark after it. Then we need to list Unicodes for all range signs in square brackets. This code is for the hyphen minus sign, and this is for the non-breaking hyphen. The square brackets indicate that any of the characters may be present. Now we have to add another space and the last digit. And most importantly, do not forget to click the R button to let the software know it's a regular expression, not a plain text. In the expression for the translation segment, type the word used for the range instead of the range sign. We put ET in our case. Now let's create another pattern for a case where the source text uses a word, but the translation uses a sign. The pattern is similar to the previous one, but we have to swap the expressions. In the upper field, type the expression with the word used in the source language, to in our case. Then just copy the expression from the upper field of the previous pattern to the lower field of this pattern. Do not forget to click the R button. Now we have our search patterns ready. Let's get back to the first table and fill out the remaining fields. The pattern numbers field defines the rule for the ignore. If it uses only one pattern, which is true for the first example, just enter the pattern number. If it uses several patterns, link them using and, or Boolean operators. In our case, use or. Enter the number of the first pattern, then or, and then the number of the second pattern. This means that if a range in the source text and the translation matches one of the patterns, Verifika will exclude the segment from the report. The last field, error type, allows us to link an ignore to a specific error group. In our case, it's different amount of mathematical signs. Now we are all set. Let's open the report and ensure Verifika excludes ranges and the abbreviation for example, from the report. Congratulations! Now you have an idea of how to set up ignores for a check in Verifika. We'll discuss more features of the software in the next videos.